Well, slurp-de-derp, my wonderful jungleistical family. How are you guys doing? Hope you guys are all doing well. A subscriber left a comment on yesterday's YouTube video about how would I go about layering a acoustic kick over my synthetic kick to combine them together. And this is a really, really quick and easy thing to do. So I thought I would just share it as a little mini tip today. So yesterday, if you recall, we created the kick in Vital, this one. And I said it would be a great way to add low end punch and power to your drums, but it perhaps lacks a little bit of extra interest or character. And one great way would be to layer over the recording of a real acoustic kick on top of it. So I have picked a real acoustic kick drum, and on its own it sounds like this. So notice it sounds like, very, very like raw recording of like a bass drum from a real, drum kit. And it actually already has the kind of shape that we want because it has a very soft transient. It's like doesn't have like a really snappy transient at the start because we've already covered that in our main kick, And it's got a nice character, realistic tone to it. And so what I would basically do is well, just to inform you first, you really want to still make sure that the main kick that we made before, the powerful one, is the prominent one, the really dominant one. So we're leaving the transient in, we're leaving the body in. It's going to be like the loudest one. We're not going to like change it, The layer that we're adding on is like we're going to push this like into the background of the first main synth kick, So you've got to think of it as like a sort of 80%, 20% ratio kind of thing. So the main one is still like, really the focus, and this one is just like adding a little bit of texture in, okay, to create a bit of depth and interest. So what I've done is I've actually already I've chopped the length of the kicks to give a little kind of almost a little swing to the beat. So the second kick, where there's a little bit less of a gap between the next kick, I've just shortened the file. As you can see, the files are like a little bit shorter here. So just a little bit of interest, like duh, 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 like a bit of swing to it. Okay, and now all we need to do to blend it in is three things really: transient shaping, EQing, and then volume. That's all you really need to do. Okay, so the first part is the transient shaper, and when you listen to the kick on its own, the new acoustic kick, it doesn't have much of a transient anyway compared to our main one. We've really got that snap at the start, but it's good that we don't have so much to take away because it makes our job easier. And so what we're going to do is we're going to play them together. And when the attack is up on our new layer, it does conflict with the first one already quite a lot, Like you can't hear the transient of the main one so well anymore. If I take it down all the way to 100%, now I can really hear the transient from the synth kick, but I've kind of lost a lot of the actual sample now. So it's just a case of finding a blend where you still hear the transient of your main kick, but now you're finding that balance where you're blending in the new layer. So you've got a nice trade-off, it's not like overtaking the transient of the main one, but it's also, you've got enough in there so you can still hear it. So about 40% or so. This is the best transient shaper that I recommend, and it's free, the kilohertz one. It just has a good ratio of the attack. Like it's a nice way. It kind of just seems to work quite well, especially when you have it roughly in the middle. That's usually somewhere around there where you're kind of looking for, Some transient shapers will be really aggressive or too weak, and this one has like a medium level of like sort of the intensity of its effect, so it's quite useful. Okay, so about there. Then all we're going to do next is just EQ out the low end, and we can just do it nice and smoothly. So again, we want to prioritize the power and weight of the first kick to take up most of the low end and mid range. So we really, the texture we're adding in with the acoustic kick is really mostly for the high end, yeah? So we kind of lose a bit of the actual character there. So for this one, we might go a little bit lower than usual. Might do a little bit of double EQing just to shape it like nice and smoothly. And again here, what I'm listening for is the weight and power of the first one and how much of that is being masked by the new edition. So, you know, if I really want to keep it nice and clean, I'd probably go up to about there. You know, we do lose a bit of character from the acoustic sample at this point. However, you really hear the power of the main one again when I go up to 300 or so. So I think this is a better range around here. Okay, still got that lovely bit of top end that the acoustic sample provides, you know? That seems pretty good to me there. And here I've really sort of done an 80-20 kind of thing, you know? So just turn the volume down a bit. Okay, so that now it's if I mute this layer, it's completely not interfering with the main one at all. Yeah. So we have taken out a fair bit of character in the low end. We've taken out the transient. We've turned it down a little bit. But the first one is still like really, really dominant and present. So this way round, by being really, really careful about, you know, not interfering with the power of the main one, you'll ensure that your mix down is going to be a lot cleaner in your low end, you know. You might, like I said, you might not have that full kind of effect of the acoustic drum sample, but realistically, if you want like a clean and powerful mix down, you're gonna have to like sacrifice some of that low end to keep the main one as like the definitive low end sound. You know, it's not like so good to overlap lots of low end together. You know, so that's how I would probably play that game. I could even shorten the end with the transient shaper again, like taking the sustain down, making it a little bit tighter. That's perfect to me. I've added like a little, 10 or 20% of acoustic drum texture. And that's all I really want to do. And then, you know, I've kept a lot of space and headroom in my mix down for all of the other stuff that will come in later, you know? So that's how I would do it. I wouldn't go over crazy with layering and loads of kicks. It's just a little bit of a realistic texture in the top, and that should be good enough. All right, that was just a little mini tip for you today. That's how I would layer an acoustic kick on a synthetic kick for like clean, powerful drum and bass. May I also remind you that we have links down below for one-on-one classes and other group production classes I do as well. I've got one coming up this Sunday, a couple of spots left in there. And I also have many preset packs on my website, Vital presets, phase plant presets. There's some free packs in there as well. Someone said recently that the free packs don't do the rest of them justice, but I'll leave that up to you. The paid packs are definitely where I put most of my time and energy into. And I also have a Discord community which is accessible via my Patreon, via the Discord Dynasties tier or higher. And in there we have daily chats, give each other feedback on our tracks, and organise other group events and things like that. So thank you for watching, my Gs. Have a great rest of your day. More from me soon. Much love.